All right, let's do our next component. So I'm going to my components folder and I'm going to make an add design.tsx. Okay, remember we're doing functional components. Export function add design. Okay, so now we got our basic function. Okay, and we're going to return. All right, now one thing with JSX is you can use this sort of like blank. I call it like a blank div. I'm not sure what the actual name, the term for it, terminology for it is, but you need to when you have HTML in here, you can use this if you have like nothing to wrap it in. But I think let's just start off with this, and I think we need an H1, an H2 tag that says add design. All right, so we've got that. All right, and then if we look at it, there's some buttons for picking the different flavors. So there's going to be a button, chocolate, okay, button, vanilla, and then a button for strawberry. All right, now notice how it's like yelling at me right now, right? Okay, JSX expressions must have one parent element. So basically, when you do a component, there must be an element that's a parent to all other elements within the JSX, and that could be a div tag. But you can also use this empty tag, like I just showed you. And I'm going to put all this other stuff in there. Okay, this is because the way React renders, it needs this like base element for all the other elements to be inside. So that's just part of JSX. So let's just go ahead and do it. Okay, notice how now we've got there's no red. I'm gonna go ahead and back over to the site. Okay, and I'm gonna add this component into the root component. So now we've got this. If we go back to app.tsx, we can go ahead and do we called it add design. All right, we're gonna go ahead. Let's do add design. I want a slash here. There we go. Okay, same thing. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this in. Okay, the parent, a base parent element. Okay, and then import add design. Hover over it, quick fix. There we go. Okay, we're gonna go head back to our thing. Okay, flip over. All right, and then it doesn't look great right now, but you see how we have like add design and chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. All right, so we've got those three buttons. They don't do anything just yet. If you click them, it's not gonna do anything. But we have that. Let's add some more buttons. Okay, I think we need a button for light and dark. So let's head back over to add design. So again, any changes here will show up in that one spot. So each component, like I said, is their own little world. All right, so add design. Let me look at the actual spec of what it's supposed to say. All right, so it's what to support. Okay, cool. So we've got add design, H2, what to support. Okay, then we've got color, theme, and font size. H2 color theme, H2 font size. Neat. All right, and then so there's gonna be button, light, button, dark. We're gonna have a button that says up. Then we're gonna have an input, which is gonna be type equals number. And another button that goes down. So again, as you can see, this is just like normal HTML. Okay, the only weird thing might be the fact that you have to have like a root, you have to have a parent element like this. Okay, but as long as you just remember that, and again, TypeScript will let you know. All right, React will definitely let you know whether or not you're doing that, so don't worry about it. All right, so we've got all this stuff. Let's go switch over. All right, and so yeah, everything looks I mean, like not great so far, but we have the elements that we need. We're going to do a little bit of home improvement though in the way that this looks. All right, but as you can see, we're just putting in HTML, nothing too fancy. Let's see. Let's use some Flexbox. Try to make this not look like it's so hit. All right, I'm going to go back to app.tsx. I'm going to put a div here. So I'm going to do div class. Now, oh, here's a good thing to remember. Because this is JSX, we can't use certain keywords like class. Okay, so remember this is JavaScript, so like when we combine HTML and JavaScript, some of the keywords overlap, so they have to add different keywords. So I'm going to do div class name. So not class name is equal to. I'm going to go ahead and call this main. Okay, and I'm going to put add design inside of it. And this is going to be used for styling. So I'm going to use Flexbox to try to make this look not so horrible. All right, typically what I do just as development wise is I try to like flesh out my components in terms of like just putting the HTML elements on there. And then from there we can move. But I guess we can start here. So I'm going to do main. Then I'm going to go into my app.css. You have a bunch of like stuff that they have from the beginning. You can just delete it. Okay, I don't want this stuff. Okay, so when they do like the default React app, it has a bunch of CSS that comes with it. You can just get rid of it, no problem. All right, so my class name was main. So I'm going to do dot main. And I'm going to do direction flex. Or display flex, excuse me. Display flex. Okay, cool. And then I'm going to say the children of main, all children of main, they will take up like 1 unit of space. Okay, that still will look terrible, but at least when I put the other thing in, it will look better. So if we look at like this, all right, so it will still look not lovely, but we'll get to there. All right, so let's keep going with this. Okay, still looks a little bit hit, but let's continue with this. I'm going to go back to the code. All right, so we have display flex. I think I want this flex direction to be column. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to put flex hyphen direction column. All right, let's take a look. Again, React will update. I love the fact that it updates automatically. All right, so that looks a bit better. Like, except again, we're not quite where we want to be at in terms of styling. All right, but we're still getting better. So I have everything in this sort of column format. Let's add some styles for these buttons. Let's head back to index.css and let's add some good old-fashioned. Okay, I'm gonna just put. I have some CSS I made up. We'll go over it. So first off, I have button. Okay, which is background color is this nice shade of blue. The text color will be white. I'm making the font a little bit bigger. No border. Border radius will be 4 pixels and padding to give it a little bit extra space in between them. All right, and then when the button's active, it's going to be this shade of blue. When it's disabled, it'll be this shade of gray. Add some margin. I also going to create this thing called button bar because I want the buttons to be like side by side. So I'm going to go back into add design and I'm going to put these inside this button bar. So div class name, remember not class, class name is button hyphen bar. I'm going to go ahead and put them in there. I'm going to do that for the rest of them too. So div class name equals button bar. Okay, go like that. And one more. Class name. Oops. Be careful with the IntelliSense. It is not intelligent sometimes. Alright, let's just see how this looks. Okay, let's switch over. Alright, the buttons look better. Alright, that's not terrible. Alright, it's still like not like we have the text over one side and the buttons on the other. Let's see if we can fix that part too. It looks a little weird. Let's actually, I think I know what the, okay, so I think I know what's up. All right, let's go back to our code and let's fix up the CSS. All right, first off, we have this blank parent element. I'm gonna make it a div so that way like everything will stack. I'm just gonna give an ID of div ID equals add design. Okay, so what that should do is force everything to stack one on top of the other. All right. And I kind of want to also show you something about like how components work. So let's go back to app.tsx. All right, now I put the same component in twice. And you might be thinking, well, Jonathan, what's this going to look like? All right, watch. It took the same component and like copy pasted on 2 times. So that's what's kind of cool about this. You see how the components work? You can basically just take a component and stick it anywhere, and you can do it multiple times and do as much as you want. So I just did that just to kind of show you that that works. So I'm going to get rid of this because we don't need it. I think actually with my header, I don't need to have text align center because that's going to make all my headers that way, and I don't want that. So let's take a look and see if that did it. All right, cool. So we got Ice Cream Wars, add design, what to support, color theme, font size. Okay, cool. All right, we might need to adjust some of the way that this looks, but okay, but we're fine for right now. All right, so um, we just built our component for ad design. We added some buttons. We added some with this input, but it doesn't do anything yet. React is all about the user clicking on buttons and interacting with our UI and doing things like that. So in order to do that, we're going to need to learn what's called state. Okay, each component has what's called a state, which is essentially the variables that affect how the component is displayed to the user. So for example, right now we want a button chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. I'd like for the user to be able to pick one and have the display change based on what they picked. Okay, so the state of the component will need to store that information for us. React gives us an awesome way of doing this. It's actually very straightforward. It'll look weird at first, but you'll be able to get it. But first, just kind of work to get your CSS the way you want to. Okay, remember you can go into the different CSS files and change them. Okay, and also, try putting the add design component in more than one place and see what happens. All right, the components, you can just stick them wherever you want to, and that's what makes them really great about component architecture. All right, so in the next video, we're actually going to work with the state of the app.